Hi everyone, this is Aaron for Zollotech. We're going to take a first look at iOS 7. This is iOS 7 on my device. It's the beta version, and there's a couple things I can show you on this, and it's really different as far as what I can say so far. So let's turn it on here, and you can see first thing is it has live wallpapers. This is included with iOS 7. I can move it here, and it's live without me moving it. So I can move it around, and it will move based on which way I move the phone, using the different sensors inside the phone to sense which way it's moving. And you can see if I hold it still, they'll actually move. Now I can access notifications straight through here without unlocking the phone. And I can also access the camera, and we can bring up some quick settings as well, which they also call Control Center, without unlocking the phone. We'll go more into that in a second. Let's unlock the phone here. We're in text messages there, and as you can see, it looks radically different. Now, any app you've downloaded isn't going to look any different because that's their app icon. So you can see Podcast, which is actually an Apple app, looks the same. Instagram, Twitter, those things all look the same. But you can see Maps and Calendar and Photos and Camera all look dramatically different, more flat, and I dare say more Windows Phone-like as far as its flatness goes, but with some gradients instead of just straight flat colors. So you can see things do look a lot different, and what they've done as far as the operating system goes, other than just flattening everything, is give everything an overhaul. So Notification Center is different. It looks a little bit different, not hugely different, but it is different. We go to Today, we have our stocks, tells you the date, any reminders you have for the next days, and then it says tomorrow you have no events scheduled for tomorrow. So that's pretty handy, and we've had that before, but you can see we have all and missed. Same thing. Now let me swipe to the right. If we slide to the left, you saw, I'm not even sure how I brought that up on this one, where you used to be able to search the iPhone. It popped up. Now the next thing is Control Center. If I slide up from the bottom, I have all of these quick options, and this is something Apple honestly should have integrated some time ago as far as quick access to your settings. So you have airplane mode, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, do not disturb, rotation lock, screen brightness, you've got your music access, AirPlay. They even included a flashlight, a compass, a calculator, and camera, all in this quick settings, or Control Center as they call it. Now, multitasking really reminds me a lot of a mix between Windows Phone, but more so of Palm OS on the Palm Pre. If I double tap the home button just like before, you see it goes out into this card view. I can slide through, and if I want to get rid of one, I slide it off, and it closes the app. So it really reminds me quite a bit of Palm Web OS that did exactly the same thing. It's not a bad thing, but it definitely is not their idea as far as that goes. It's really pretty much the best way to handle multitasking, I think, and it was a good route for them to go, but definitely not Apple's idea when it comes to that. Let me set the phone down here, and we'll talk about some of the other features. So one of the other features they've included is iTunes Radio. If I go into Music, we have a radio option. So if I tap on radio, you can see there's Skrillex radio, I have the 80s Dance Party, and there isn't a whole lot here, but I can create a new radio playlist. This is very similar to Pandora. If you have iTunes Match, which is about $25 a year, and I'm not going to go into what exactly it does, but it gives you ad-free access to iTunes Radio. We can add a station, we can search based on genre. Let's go into, I guess, classical. Mozart, and we can hit plus, and we'll create a radio station off that. We'll go back. You can see it's a little bit slow, and that's probably due to it being a beta. In fact, when I restored the phone, it took forever. I restored it. It actually didn't take long to load the OS. It took a long time to restore from backup. So there you can see there's the radio. If I want to play it, I just simply tap on it. We have artists here, and you can see it filled in the album art. If I tilt sideways, you get a different view as opposed to before, and it hasn't filled in all my album art yet, but you get the idea. So let me go back home, and there's some really nice animations that Apple's done that makes everything kind of flow and go smoothly together. One of the things they've really changed a lot is photos. They've changed the icon, but they've also made it easier to access your photos. They've grouped things into similar events, just like they do on iPhoto if you have a Mac. So we can tap and hold, or tap and open rather, and we have our different moment, as they call it. And as you get more photos, if I go back here to collections, you can see we have more and more. And if I want to tap and hold, it kind of gives me a bigger view, so I can kind of scrub through these and figure out which photo I want and then tap to open it. So pretty interesting, pretty simple, and very innovative, or intuitive rather. I don't know how innovative it is, but it's definitely really handy and nice to have. Now, AirDrop is something we've had on the Mac for quite some time, and they've brought it to the iPhone. And now if I slide up from the bottom, you can see there's AirDrop, contacts only. If I tap on that, I don't see anybody else around as far as on AirDrop, but I can share it to contacts only or everyone. So if someone else has iOS7 and I want to send them a file, send them my contact, anything, you can just send it off that way to one or multiple people. Really handy, and it's nice that it's there. They've really changed up what the camera looks like quite a bit. If I go into camera, you can see there's photo. Let me pick it up here. There's photo. I can swipe. Let me turn it here so it, I guess it doesn't change yet, but there's photo, video photo, square, panorama, and they've actually included some filters. Oh, that wasn't on purpose, but they've actually included some filters here that we can go through. And so those are all nice that they're integrated. I'm not really crazy about filters myself, but it seems to work really well and is really functional and real simple. Works just like you would expect it to. Safari has been overhauled quite a bit. Let me open it here. And it basically makes more room for your content. So I definitely like that. You can see it's loading my site, Zollotech. And up here is the address bar. If I tap in there, I can change it. Brings up some favorites, things like that. Let's go back to Go. Now, if I start to scroll up, you'll see it shrinks. See how it shrinks up in the top there? It shrinks, gets out of the way, leaves more room for you to be able to read. On the bottom, if I want to go to another tab, I just tap on this, and I have all the different tabs that I have open. And once I get to the bottom, it will show me what's open on my iPad, what's open on my MacBook Pro, and it shows me all the different tabs that are open. So it's really convenient and simple, and then you can get a private browser if you need to there. We can bookmark, things like that. We can share it to different applications or bookmark it or whatever we want to do. Pretty simple, but really nice, and definitely makes things seem a little bit bigger as I've been using this. It's a little easier to read a few things. I can tap and zoom just like I could before, but it's a little bit different. Apple has changed up Siri quite a bit. Let me show it to you now. How far is it from here to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania?
Okay, here's Philadelphia.
So you can see there's Philadelphia. It didn't quite give me the information I wanted, but you can see it looks a lot different. They are going to give you voice options for male, female, and I haven't been able to find that yet in settings, but it should be there eventually. They've also got some interesting things as far as what it will do. It now integrates with Wikipedia and Bing search, strangely enough. Now, messages is a little bit different. You can see I have messages here. My brother's actually using iOS7 right now, and you can see it's got this neat little animation. I'll just type hey. It kind of bounces into place. So it works really well, just like you'd expect, and nothing really fancy, just different colors, flatter design. Now if I go back here, you'll see it pops in at the top. You can go back and read it. Nothing special, but it does the job just like it did before. Another thing is weather. Now I have Yahoo weather on here. Let me see if I can find Apple's weather. You can see it's still installing applications. And while we're at it, let me show you one thing that a lot of people have wanted that's super simple. This is the new newsstand app icon. Tap and hold. Drag it into a folder. Why they didn't allow that before, I'm not sure. But if you don't want to use it, drag it out. I'll drag it into my Apple Apps folder, where we have Passbook and all sorts of different things. Oh, there's weather. Let's stop that and take a look at weather, which has been overhauled. Now, weather is provided by Yahoo, and you can see it looks very similar to Yahoo. We've got very similar things here. If I tap on this, it gives me a little more information, and we can go through different areas, just like before. Nothing really crazy, but that's pretty much it as far as weather goes. There's quite a lot of different changes within the OS. I can't go into all of them, as this is an early version. Things could change, and that's basically what Apple showed during the keynote. But overall, they've changed quite a bit. Mail they did show, so I can show that a little bit. I have to put in all my passwords. I'll do that a little bit later. But you can see, oh boy. So things are actually popping up. I haven't gone into that yet. Let's cancel that for now. All right, well, I'll show that a little bit later when we do a more thorough overview. But you can see everything kind of zooms back in really nice. Calendar. Everything's really simple. They've got rid of all of the skeuomorphism. For the most part, we have a new game center. We have all sorts of new different looks to everything. Apple's radically changed the look of the OS. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm going to let it grow on me for a little while and see what I think. If I go into phone, you can see there's the dialer. It's a little bit different, and the color changes a little bit based on what kind of background you're using. It's just all a little bit different and a little less texture rich, and I'm not sure honestly how I feel about that. I'm curious what you have to say. It does remind me a lot of Windows Phone 7, but with a little more gradient and texture, but not a whole lot really. I'm curious to hear what you have to say about the OS and what you think about Apple's new redesign direction. Please place those in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.